Bush is Gorazny for boom!
All right, Gears of War. This is a franchise I like. I wrote the introduction to the Gears of War 3 art book that came with the special edition of Gears 3. So yeah, I have some affinity for it. I've always liked the controls. I've always liked the more deliberate nature of the combat. It doesn't feel as frenetic as a lot of other games out there. And I gotta say, I've actually kind of liked the characters and story. I know they get bagged on all the time, but it just seems to work within that world. And so it's with that I'm quite excited, or I was quite excited, for Gears of War Judgment. You know, it's a prequel. It takes place in the early part of the story, right after Immersion's Day. I thought it might give some nice context to the rather interesting world they've created. I wish it did. Judgment is a prequel taking place in the initial week following Immersion's Day, when all the Locust hordes crawled out of the ground. Using a military tribunal as a framing device, the 4 members of Kilo Squad, including Baird and a youthful-looking Augustus Cole from the Gears games, recount their rogue mission that has engendered the fury of their sociopathic commander, Ezra Loomis. The game plays out the events leading up to the tribunal, allowing the player to take on the role of all 4 squad members. The story and narrative device hold a lot of potential, nearly none of which is realized in Judgment's campaign. The other Gears games take place later, in a world that is depopulated and completely devastated. Judgment has the opportunity to use Immersion's Day as this point of tension and terror as people are realizing that the world that they know is crumbling right there before their eyes. But the story is so threadbare and narrow in its focus, it barely takes advantage of the familiar characters and relies solely on the gameplay to carry it along.
Locust dead! Every o'clock!
Which is unfortunate, because Judgment has the least exciting single-player experience of the franchise. Clearly designed with co-op and replayability in mind, the game puts forward a series of shooter exercises that involve clearing relatively small areas of Locust or holding your ground for 3 waves of incoming enemies. The combat spaces themselves are thoughtfully designed to facilitate short and long-range combat options and changes to the control scheme. Weapon switching is on the Y button, and grenades are now activated with the left bumper. They allow for combat that is much faster and with an abundance of enemies. Additionally, a heavy reliance on wrenches and tickers make frequent movement essential. This strategic design is efficient, but lacks any drama or variance. No one section of Judgment is bad, and no one section of Judgment stands out as memorable. The game is designed for replayability, with a scoring system, multiple difficulties, and declassified missions that add a unique challenge, like clearing the level before poison gas kills the player, but collectively, it's little more than an assortment of challenges strung together, lacking creativity or personality. This is less of an issue when it comes to co-op, because you can truly take advantage of the variety of weapons and vantage points as you work together. But having said that, it's still to me mainly appealing to the die-hard enthusiasts of the franchise who really appreciate its unique design sensibilities. And even then, you're still doing the same challenges that are interchangeable, this time with friends. Once you easily score enough points in Judgment, you can unlock a short Gears of War 3 side story called Aftermath, detailing how Baird, Cole, and Carmine got the ship that they sail in on at the end of Gears 3. It's an odd addition because it feels like Gears 3, with all the dramatic design and production values that are lacking in Judgment. It also feels like it was intended as DLC, as it ends quite abruptly and without any resolution in the gameplay. Multiplayer fares much better in Judgment, with Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, and Domination, Gears' version of holding map locations to score points. All benefit from what is the true specialty of Epic Games: multiplayer map design. Gradations in topography, interesting combat spaces, and paths that subtly group combatants together abound in Judgment. The newest additions to cooperative and competitive play are Survival and Overrun. Survival is a newer take on Horde mode. A team holds off hordes of locusts while protecting a particular point of value, a covered emergence hole for instance. If the locusts destroy the object, the game moves to another map position and another point of protection, with 3 tries before failure. Using a nicely balanced class system, the mode is inspired in its shift of focus from your survival to that of the point of contention, opening up far more dynamic, coordinated strategies and tension. Its competitive counterweight is Overrun, where one team plays the Locust, swapping to humans after one team finds success. It's far more frenetic than the more concentrated survival mode, as the Locusts are fragile and suicidal in their intentions, and it takes on an enjoyable lunacy as the more oblique Locust variants unlock, which helps give Overrun an essential distinction from survival mode, making the two the highlight of the entire package. There's a lot of content, but it feels as unfocused as a wedding buffet with no happy couple to congratulate. Clearly designed for the committed and enthusiastic online play devotee of the franchise, the whole thing just doesn't feel epic. A 3 out of 5. Well, there you go. I was a little bit disappointed, but do bear in mind, for those of you that have a particular type of interest in Gears of War, this game may really work for you. I just highly recommend that you assess what your level of interest is before you make your decision. All right, there you go. Another review. Yay, let's all talk about it. In the meantime, get ready for 2 new things happening this week. 2 new shows are premiering. Spoiled Games, a roundtable discussion about games after they've been released. Our first one is on DMC Devil May Cry. Check it out. It'll be launching in the next 48 hours. Also, check out Address the Cess. This is a live Google Hangout. We're going to be doing them bi-weekly. You get to ask me anything. I know there's a lot of you out there that have something to say.